A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel, the Twin Flame Union. In this channeling session, I will continue talking about the Divine Masculine. The Divine Masculine Twin Flame Guru, Ram, gives exile to Divine Feminine, Twin Flame Guru Sita. And it's very hard for him. Very hard for him to go into separation. Very hard for him to let go of the person he loves the most. Let go of the person who is him. We all say this and we have all heard this, especially on this channel, that Ram and Sita are not separate from one another. Sita is Ram and Ram is Sita. Just the way you have heard this, many twin flame coaches and guides and healers and writers have told you that you and your Divine Masculine are the same. It's very important for all of us who are in the twin flame journey to listen to the story of Ram and Sita, because Ram and Sita are the twin flame gurus. And the only way you can reach union, being in a householder's life, and the easiest way also to go into the union, is to surrender to twin flame guru Sita and Ram. And this is being shared with you especially because I feel that in the twin flame community, a lot of people are in the final stages of the twin flame journey right now. Some of them have stepped out from the runner-chaser dynamic, and because they got tired of the runner-chaser dynamic, like sick and tired of the runner-chaser dynamic. And let me tell you, in the past few years, the energy of this planet was such, the dark energy was such, that light workers, twin flamers, star seeds, all of these people, they just could not help it, but they had to be in a mood, in a vibration, in a low frequency vibration, where everything was so materialistic and everything was so much about getting the validation from other people. And this is also the most narcissistic generation we have ever had, by the way. That nobody was able to get out of that trap, get out of that cycle. Even now people are there. But in the last 2 years, something has shifted. Now, it is not a surprise for twin flamers to know that 2020 is the year of twin flamers. And this is also the year which miraculously embarks a change in planet Earth's journey. And this is the reason why, for the first time, in so many thousands of years, there have never been a global pandemic of this nature. We have all come across different types of calamities. We have all come across different type of diseases, that people encountered in different countries. But it never happened in unison in the whole world. Have you ever heard it? No. Even when world wars happened, World War I, II, and this is actually also being termed as World War III by many people and many researchers, because it was predicted that the World War III would not happen with arms and ammunitions, with guns and people going on fights and things like that. It would be done in a very different way. Why is this happening right now? Why did this happen in 2020? Why are things changing? Things are changing. Don't just think that things are changing for twin flamers. Twin flamers are actually able to see it with an open mind. Because they understand that, I hope they understand, I'm not sure, not everyone would say the same thing, but you can feel it that planet Earth, the life you have on planet Earth is temporary. This is one thing we all need to know, that the life on planet Earth and everything on planet Earth, all material objects, all materialistic possessions are temporary. They are not permanent. Okay? And with these number of deaths happening, with the things that people are losing out on, with the jobs people are losing out on, so many things are happening to people. But why is it that still certain part of the world is safe? Still certain part of the world is unaffected by it. Still so many people are living their lives and they are living better lives now. There is less pollution. Animals are feeling much better. Many people have stopped eating non-vegetarian food ever since the pandemic took place. Why? Because people are realizing that all the things that we were clinging on to, they are temporary and they were not it's not that they were not seeing it earlier. Deaths were happening earlier, births were happening earlier. Still people were blind to it. But now this is a time when the masculine energy, the patriarchal energy on the planet overall has gone into a soul shock. And it is the feminine energy, the nurturing energy. All those people who have nurturing energies have stepped up to take care of other people, to spread positive energy. And this is how the rise of divine feminine energy is taking place on planet Earth. This is going to take a few more years, obviously. It will not happen right away. But the awakening feminines, the mother energy is awakening in the feminines with a faster speed. Most of the feminines are now realizing that whatever things they were doing earlier, they are not going to solve anything. They are not going to serve them a purpose in the twin flame journey. If they want to heal the masculine energy, then they need to be very, very strong about the nurturing element that they have. Because nurturing is what the earth needs right now. Planet Earth needs nurturing. Planet Earth needs love. Unconditional love has to grow. Only then the ascension will happen. And this is my personal experience. And this is the experience of many people who have surrendered, who consider Ram and Sita to be their guru, that Ram is not just, yes, he is a god. Yes, they are gods and goddesses. But from the twin flame journey, from that perspective, they are the perfect twin flame gurus. Perfect twin flame gurus. There is no other god. You can go back to 10,000 years, and Ramayana is very old. It's a very old epic which the foreign invaders and which the colonizers termed as mythology. How can it be mythology? Can mythology be 10,000 years old? Can mythology be untouched? So in the first part, I had told people, all of you all, that the story of Ram, the love of Ram and Sita, the unconditional love of Ram and Sita, who are twin flame gurus, and twin flame concept has also gone from India to West. Now, I don't know why, but this is probably, it seems to be one of my mission work to spread this story globally. Because I am right now not talking to people who are in India. I personally feel that Indians are already sitting on a treasure land. There are so many people globally who are in twin flame journey right now, and there are more people who are in the Western world who are in twin flame journey as compared to Indians. I know this is a hard pill to swallow, this information, but this is a fact. This is a fact. And this was maybe how it was universally planned, that twin flame story would start from the land of India, or the Asian land, or the Indian subcontinent, I would say, not even Asia, India and Nepal, because Sita was born in Nepal. She was a Nepalese princess, and Ram was from India, and Ravan was from Sri Lanka. At one point in time, Sri Lanka, Nepal, India, Pakistan, all of these countries, Bangladesh, they were all one. They were all Indian subcontinent. So everyone was living in peace. And Ravan, the demon king, he was living in Sri Lanka because in India, he could not live in India. India is a very peaceful country. India is a very high vibrational country. But he was very smart. He did create 1 or 2 portals in India which were used for demonic energy transmission. And what he used to do was, his asuras, his rakshasas, used to go and trouble any people in the woods and forest where they would see yogis and munis and rishis, who are in ascension work. They would purposely go and trouble ascensioners. And this has not changed even now. Even now, dark energies trouble people who are in ascension, and even now, just like demon Ravan separated Ram and Sita from their happy union, even now dark energies are separating masculines and feminines from their happy union. But Ram and Sita were on planet Earth with a mission of spreading unconditional love. They wanted to kill the demon god, Lord, I won't say God, Lord of demons, the king of demons, the ruler of demons, Ravan. A person like Ravan cannot be called God, by the way. So they had to kill him because his energies, the dark energies, were rising so much because of him. And even now there are people who worship Ravan. Why? Because Ravan is a symbolism of ego. Ram is a symbolism of soul. That is why his love for Sita, the unconditional love for Sita, and Sita's unconditional love for him, that is what we need as source of energy. And a lot of people who are in twin flame journey, star seeds, they do a lot of practices. I know, they tell me I do this technique, I do that technique, I do blah blah blah, they tell me, but they keep getting drained by dark energies. They are never in balance. They're always in some or the other trouble, and it's very difficult for them to keep the energy intact. And this is also the reason why they go through runner chaser dynamic. So when they do a lot of inner work, they do a lot of ascension work, they practice some kind of meditation techniques, so the positive energy grows in them. But because it is not permanent, or it is not in harmonious zone, they have not surrendered to source fully. So if you're not going to surrender to source fully, how will you get energy? Where will you get energy? Dark energies are going to suck away all your good energy. And this is done by karmics, this is done by false twin flames, this is done by negative soulmates. And these twin flames on planet Earth, they are specially targeted by the dark energies. So anyone who's around them, like if you are in a karmic relationship and the karmic can easily be manipulated by dark energies, the dark energies that would then use the karmic to take out all the energy. False twin flames, psychos, they're all ruled by these evil dark energies. That's why they have so many mental disorders. They have so many mental disorders. Some of them have split personality. Some of them have multiple personalities disorders. Some of them, are very much basically maneuvered by some evil spirit. So what do? They want to have sex with the twin flamers. They will allure the twin flamers. They will seduce the twin flamers by using spiritual language, by using spiritual technology, like whatever they can gauge. So they will basically, initially they will put all their energy to somehow attract these twin flamers to them, so that they can never be in union with their real partners, with their true love, with their soul love, with their divine feminines and divine masculines. They can never be together. That is what they want. But obviously you are not gonna let it happen, right? But how will you do it alone? You can't do it alone. All those people who think they will do it alone, I'm sure you already know what you've been going through in the last 10 years or 12 years or 11 years or 15 years or 20 years even. You need to surrender, and you cannot get anything from anywhere else, because like every god and goddess and every incarnation on planet Earth has a purpose. A householder's life is very different from a sannyasi's life. So Buddha is a perfect god, you can say perfect master for people who are monks. He's really good for monks and sannyasis, because that is the life he practiced, that is the life he lived. And there are so many beautiful pearls of wisdom that Buddha has given to a lot of us. And I have also practiced Vipassana meditation, which was what Buddha wanted to spread to the world. Buddha did not want to spread Buddhism. He never wanted another ism. He was very much against religion. He himself, and throughout his teaching, he only kept talking about, please don't get into religions and don't get into isms. Just be a humanitarian, just be a monk, leave everything and be a monk. He was himself a crown prince who turned a monk. He left everything and he became a monk. But Ram and Sita are the perfect gods. Vishnu and Lakshmi are the preservers, the gods for householders. We are not monks. We are not sannyasis. We have to live here. We have to work here. We have to make sure that we are not dependent on anyone financially. And still, with all our responsibilities, we have to make sure that we attain moksha, we attain nirvana, that we reach to Vaikuntha, that we go to, we make sure that our heart, our body, our soul is so pure that the divine masculine and the divine feminine, Ram and Sita, they both live in our hearts. When they live in our hearts, that means we are in balance. Then we will experience unconditional love. Unconditional love. Okay. And yes, there are many characters in the story of Ram and Sita, like Hanuman. Hanuman did not marry anyone. Hanuman was single, but why was he single? Because he was actually created by the union of Shiva and Vishnu. Shiva and Vishnu in Mohini's form. And then his parents, who were the god of wind, Pavan. Pavan means wind. Okay, so Hanuman was the son of Pavan, and his mother. So he came from all of these energies put together. His purpose on planet Earth was to help Ram and Sita. That was his purpose. So ever since he was a child, he got into deep meditation. He was also cursed. And don't think we are, or twin flamers are living through some kind of curse. Even Ram and Sita lived through curses. Even Hanuman had a curse. So all of them had curse, and still they managed to be in union, and this is the reason why they are the gods we need to surrender to. Now again, I am not spreading any religion or any cult over here, because Sanatan Dharam, Hinduism, as we say in the modern term, it is an open culture. It is not just a religion, it's a culture. You don't need to convert into anything. You don't need to get baptized. You don't need to do anything. Whatever religion you have, you continue to live in that. Whatever people you pray to, whatever gods you pray to, whatever temple, mosques, whatever shrines you go through, you can continue to do that. This is not about that, because Sanatan Dharam is based on the concept of energy. And I will explain it to you one by one. This is the reason why there will be separate channelings for this. And these are very important channelings. Don't miss out on these channelings, because all of these channelings are going to give you so much energy. This is how they are designed, and it's not me who's giving all this energy to you. I am not the source of your energy. The source of energy is once again Ram and Sita. Ram and Sita are the source. Source is source. Now you can call them by any name. But why Ram and Sita? Because their story, that is a story that gives energy to householders, to twin flamers who are in separation, who are here to learn about unconditional love. How to practice unconditional love towards your divine feminine and divine masculine. How to learn forgiveness, because I don't know if you know this or not, but this is one thing that we are here to do on planet Earth, is to learn forgiveness. The masculine is not able to forgive the feminine. The feminine is not able to accept that he can forgive me. That is why they are suffering. And then they practice these dynamics with other people while they are in separation. But the moment of success happens when they both believe, they understand, and they know by experience that they don't love anyone else but each other. Then they become fully committed to each other. Even if they have any defilement, like addictions, and there are various types of addictions, right, on planet Earth, or they have some kind of attachment issues, or they have some kind of, what we call it, the rag and the dvesh, the aversions and the attachments. Cravings is basically for rag, and aversion is for dvesh, and for attachment we use the word asakti. So this is how we speak in, like I'm trying to translate the important words for you. So to remove the defilements of craving and aversion and attachment, you are specially being sent to planet Earth. And why are you being sent to planet Earth, and why now? Can you see the change in planet Earth right now? Do you see the change of energy? Do you see how clear it is for people in ascension? I mean, for people who are suffering, who are living in fear, it's not clear to them, and I know it will not be. It will not be. There will be a clear division of planet Earth very soon, and the part that will ascend will be a new Earth, and the part that will not want to ascend, that will basically go into hell. So the hell part, the hell will consume all of that, all of those people, or that type of earth energy. So the earth has to ascend from this dark energy, and this is the reason why during this time specifically twin flamers, star seeds, light workers have been sent to planet Earth. They have chosen to come here on their own. They have been put into very toxic templates, wounded templates to heal planet Earth, and together when we all ascend, we help Mother Earth ascend, and we get into golden age. So this is the whole idea behind it, and Mother Earth has suffered a lot. She has suffered a lot because of dark energies, only to keep us protected, so that at least, you know, the sentient beings, the nature beings, they can survive till a certain time. That's why she took all this pain for her own children. We are all the children of Mother Earth. And you know, when you learn about unconditional love, you will then understand how much Mother Earth has given to us, how much. You will feel so much gratitude for Mother Earth. How much she takes for us, how much pain she takes for us, how much suffering she takes for us. So, Sita is also the daughter of Mother Earth. Sita was born from Earth, and when she goes to her mother, when she leaves the planet, again she goes back to her mother. She comes from Earth. She was not born biologically, by the way. That's the story. And of course, back in those days, technology was very advanced, very advanced. People could easily do astral projections. People, they did not need a telephone or a video call to connect with people. People were so advanced that they would just sit in deep meditation, close their eyes, and they would travel. Nowadays, people are creating, on Earth, spaceships and this and that. And why are they creating it? Because they want to travel from one planet to another, one galaxy to another. This is all the creation of reptilian beings, because they definitely cannot do this via the mental practice. They cannot. It's impossible for them. So they are doing all these changes are happening on planet Earth. Why technology is suddenly being increased to this level is because now spacecrafts would be made. People would be traveling to space. But for an ascensioner, they don't need a spacecraft to travel. They don't need anything to connect to their masters other than the name of Ram. The name of Ram is more than enough. But you need to practice it, because you see, the Maya, the illusion on planet Earth is so deep. It is so deep. Look at the way people are scared. Look at the way people are trying to protect themselves. Look at the way, people are not understanding what unconditional love is. They are stuck in low frequency love energy, which is the worst form of love. They don't know about true love. Nobody knows about true love. Very few people know about true love. And when you know about true love, when you practice true love, you are like, wow. That's the reason why many people who are in ascension, they cannot go back to old life. They just cannot. It is so impossible for them. Technically also they can't do it. Because as you move on, you are reborn again and again. So this is the reason why all those people who were born in the 80s and the 90s especially, they got incarnated or reincarnated at this time, so that by the time it's 2020, they have at least some insight about true love. And many of the twin flamers actually met each other before 2020, and many of them had unions before 2020, but it was a harmonious union. It was not a permanent union. So they had to go their separate ways. And then some of them were so awakened and enlightened already from, previous lives, or since birth they were like that, or they were sent from another galaxy, especially for this mission. They were sent to planet Earth after proper discussion with the Council of Elders. And then they were like, okay, you're going to go there. And they did not have experience of planet Earth, by the way. They were coming from a twin star galaxy, or they were coming from a place where there is no concept of darkness. So when they were sent here to a toxic template, they really had to go through so much pain so that they could heal so many other people. So it's not been easy for them. So therefore they got into mission work before 2020, or by the time they were, heading to 2020, they figured out that, okay, this is what my mission is, and automatically things started happening for them. Automatically, universe gave them whatever help they needed. Why? Because they chose pain. They chose suffering. Since the day they were born, they chose to suffer. They chose to live in a lifestyle where they were tortured, emotionally tortured, mentally tortured, physically tortured, sexually abused, all kinds of abuse. So they continued to go through abuse for many years. And because of that abuse, and it was various level of abuses, type of people who have gone through abuse in all departments, all areas of life. So they know every department very well. So there are those people who are monadic twins. There are those people who chose a template for mission work. There are those people who chose to be in a template where they could really observe better than others. So there are so many different types of twin flamers, but in the coming time, after 2020, obviously the scenario on Earth has changed, and there would be more and more twin flamers who would be awakening. And so those who are in the final stages of this journey, you have so much to share. You would have so much to share, and you would be inspiring so many people if you are really into that with the understanding of unconditional love. So in part 2 of this channeling session, I'm going to talk about why Divine Masculine, who's Twin Flame Guru Ram, had to give up on Sita, and how we can learn from this, how we can get the energy of unconditional love, which will heal our wounds, which can act as medicine. Love is the only medicine that can heal all the sickness on this planet. But most people don't know how to get that love. They get trapped into the fake love, and then they think that this is going to heal me. On the contrary, they get more wounded. So, very important to know, to practice, to hear the story of Ram and Sita, Ramayana. And very, very important for twin flamers, I must say this. The reason why you've been feeling lost is also because you don't know, because you're born in the Western world, because your culture is so different, that you don't know about this story. This story was practiced all over the world beforehand, like before all the dark ages consumed us. But slowly and gradually, the evil entities, the reptilians, they took over planet Earth. And this was bound to happen. This is how Kali Yuga works. So Kali Yuga happened after the end of Dwapar. Kali Yuga started at the end of Dwapar. At that time, there were not many rulers on this planet. The nations were not divided like this. Many nations, or you can say they were all living in different lands, but they were all in so much harmony with one another, so much love with one another. Technology was very good. Everything was so easy for people. So all they did was practice unconditional love. All they did was practice ascension. But when the time changes, and this is something that you cannot run away from. This is how planet Earth is designed. The Yuga cycle is designed in such a way. It is like how women get cycles. She's on period, and then Earth is actually very much similar to woman's body, we can say. Then she recovers from that, then she goes up, then there are certain days which is like golden age for her. She's happy, she's enjoying. Then, but what we need to do is we need to heal this. We don't want the feminines to always be triggered and upset and angry and get affected by dark energies. So we need to heal Mother Earth in the same way. Now, we are not in dark ages, but we are in the ascension. We are in the ascending age. We are in ascending Dwapar. But do you think the reptilians will sit quietly? The demonic energies would sit quietly? No. They have created so many traps, so many illusions. And it's not that the good energy is not working. We are all working together. Sometimes I feel that the evil energies or the so-called dark energies, they're also helping us to grow. I feel so much gratitude for all those people who have acted out of their negativity or evil energies or dark energies or whatever you want to call it. Today, because of them, you feel like, oh my God, today if I'm with God, today if I'm integrating with Source, it's because of them. So unknowingly or knowingly, reptilians and nirvanas are actually working for one another, because whether you like it or not, even reptilians, they work on technology. They know technology really well. So that's why they create all these technological advancements, that help them move from one place to another, or that helps them get energy. The biggest difference between a reptilian and a nirvana is that reptilians take energy from other people. Their energy comes from bodily sources, and they also need energy from pure entities. And nirvanas, they don't need energy from human beings. That's the reason why most of you, when you heal other people, you feel very drained, because you don't still know how to connect with Source. You're not able to integrate with Source, so your energy goes away, faster than you imagine, than you think. And then you have to sit down, you have to take your time, you have to take rest, you have to rejuvenate, to come back in your space, and then again you can start healing other people. It can be tiring, of course, but once you learn how to master this also, then you would be playing a very important role in the ascension. So there comes a sad moment in the life of Ram and Sita where they have to separate. Ram, being a king, has to choose his mission, has to choose his people. Being a king, he cannot be a selfish man. He cannot be like, oh, I just want to live with my family. I want to enjoy with my family, with my wife, and if I have children, with my brothers, with my mother, with everyone. No. Being a king, you have to make sure that your people are in good energies, they are happy. Now, many people in today's time, they don't understand this emotion. And why do divine feminines need to know about divine masculine Ram? Because as you all know that you need to heal the divine masculine template, right? But you can't directly heal them. You can't go to their house and say, hey, I have come with some sage. Let's do some meditation. I will heal you. You can't do that. You need to heal it within you. And Ram is the perfect embodiment of divine masculine. He is, that's why, the Guru. And because this is so interesting, you see how the yuga cycles work. Because we are in ascending Dwapar, and obviously we would be in ascending Treta, then we would be in ascending towards the golden age and then golden age. And because this twin flame journey works with opposite polarity concept. So in Treta, we were going downwards toward Kali Yuga. So Ram becomes the inspiration for the divine feminines now. And Sita becomes the inspiration for divine masculines. In opposite time, it was Sita was the inspiration and Ram was the inspiration for divine masculines, of course. Sita was taking a stand for women back then, for the feminine energy back then. Because when the yuga cycles decline, the condition of women becomes very bad. That's why we see in dark ages, either we see toxic femininity or we see women are totally repressed. They are in horrible condition. They are just a machine to produce children for reproduction. And they are just a sex object. This only thing should teach you about asexuality, and this should teach you a lot about unconditional love, that in dark ages, women's body is seen as an object for people to enjoy their lustful feelings and things like that. And Ravan, why did he abduct Sita? He wanted to marry her forcefully. Why? Because he was a demon lord. What can a demon do? He doesn't know unconditional love. He doesn't know respecting women. In fact, Ravan's wife, Mandodari, also warned Ravan many times that if you are not going to let go of Sita, Ram will kill you. It will be the end of you and all your dynasty. And Ravan did not listen to her because Mandodari was also a good woman. She was also a godly woman. She was committed to her husband, but she also she was fearless. Fearless. She wasn't scared of Ravan. But it was her, what to say? We can't even say she was unfortunate because that's her life. And she also greatly helped Sita. When Sita was abducted and she was in Ravan's Lanka, it was Mandodari also who gave her a lot of courage and, love, respect, that don't worry. My husband will not do anything. I will make sure, Or she would tell Ravan that Sita is so lucky. She has a husband like Ram. Look at you. I wish I was also with a man who was practiced monogamy. Not because Ravan had many wives. He was practicing polygamy. All these things happen towards the decline of ages. So what happened at that time? Why did Ram had to leave Sita? On Quora also, there are many people who have put this question. Did Ram do the right thing? That's because we have not yet gone deep within to understand that our duty is the biggest love of all. When you have a duty, when you have a mission, Ram was like that. Even Sita was like that. Their mission was number one priority. So when the public, started speaking ill about their relationship, they started questioning the character of Sita. Ram was like, I cannot live with Sita because if I will live with Sita in my palace happily, my public will never be happy. My Janta is called public, will never be happy. And it all started from a certain rumor, a certain gossip which became really big. And what Ram used to do as a king, he would dress up as a common man. He would dress up and he would do all the makeup, like he would have a mustache and a beard, and He would then roam in the night time, he would then roam in a city just to check on people. Have you ever heard of a king or a ruler or a prime minister or a president doing that? Ram was the opposite of what we see in today's world. He was such a selfless ruler. So he was the perfect embodiment of divine masculine. And that's why divine feminines need to get energy from divine masculine Ram, because he is the source of our energy. And you are going to be the mission doers in this era, in this time. And your masculines will support you. They will support you by their love, by their unconditional love. But you have to be focused on the mission. If you are not going to be on the mission, focused on the mission, you will be focused on him and you will put him on the pedestal. He will run away, which is what he is doing. He will not just run away physically, but he will mentally also run away. Union starts taking shape when the masculines start mentally also loving the feminines. They know that, okay, I might be away from her, or we might be having this issue, that issue, this or that, but she is the one I love. She's the only one I love. Then he will not get intimate with any other woman. Even if he will have ego issues, or even if he's struggling with some karmic entanglement, some kind of other template, but he will not involve with other women. Then his soul, his body, everything, his mind will be belonging to the divine feminine only. So people have asked this question, and many people also speak ill sometimes about Lord Sri Ram, and some people say, oh, Ravan was so great and blah, blah, blah. So people have this question that why did he, leave Sita if his love was so true? So first of all, you have to understand that as a husband and as a lover, he never asked her to go. Like even you as a feminine, if you have chosen, because I am actually talking to you in the way, I do see all those stupid comments sometimes, but I choose to ignore it. But if you are genuinely in the final stages of twin flame journey and you are a mission oriented, godly woman, if you understand this hookup culture is horrible, if you understand this fling culture is horrible, and even if you've been into it at one time, you obviously were programmed to be into that. You were not happy about it. You were not enjoying in that. You were doing it because you had to fit into the society. But after ascension, you understand that all this is not meant for you. Okay? So as a lover, you are a different person because you are somebody's girlfriend, somebody's wife, or somebody's beloved. But if you have a mission, if you are on duty, you have to keep your duty as number one priority. So as a husband or as a lover, he never asked Sita to go anywhere. He never questioned her. Even as a king, he never questioned her. It was only because he had to follow a certain rule and regulation. So as a king, he had to keep his mission, his duty, his subjects on top. So he gave up on Sita, and it is the same Sita for whom he had walked on foot all the way to Lanka to kill Ravan. Now, in this generation, it's for some people, it's very hard to understand this, that how a man can be so selfless, how a king can be so selfless. Because we have not seen our rulers do that. Politicians are constantly fighting with each other, constantly maligning each other. There is all this voting game that goes on. During the voting, so many times they cheat and they do all the frauds. They buy the votes. Sometimes they buy their people also. So these are the things, they are the immoral things they are doing. And even when they come in power, what do they do for the people? They only do things for themselves, their own image. Everyone should worship me. I am the god now. They try to become the god. And they have all the reptilian qualities in them. Reptilian ET qualities. So that's the reason why for a lot of us it's hard to even digest this type of perfection in a man. Ram was the perfect man, the only perfect man, and Sita is the only perfect woman. Imagine. So, and secondly, why people cannot digest it is because people don't practice awareness of the mind. They don't do focused attention. They have not surrendered to source. So if you're not surrendered to source or you're not focused, you get very easily distracted by all the things that the reptilian ETs have created on planet Earth as distractions. or you can say the illusions of planet Earth. In fact, reptilian ETs also are able to survive on planet Earth because that's the plan. That's the plan of Earth. On Earth, whether it is the golden age or the silver age or the bronze age or the dark ages, the reptilian ETs will always be there. The demons or the asuras will always be there. But during the golden ages, they will not be able to operate at all. They will be at the weakest. And just the same way in Kali Yuga, the nirvanas will be at the weakest. And even then, they say, it is said in Kali Yuga also, the only thing that can take you to nirvana, to moksha, is the name of Ram. And that's why in the dark ages also, many gurus in India were born. India is the only country, you can say, or the only subcontinent. I'm not marketing for India, but I'm just telling you from the studies and from what I have experienced, that India is the only country which is full of masters. Even in the dark ages, there were masters, and all the genuine masters, they gave the name of Ram. Whichever religion they belonged to, they did not care about that. Even if after their death a new religion was formed, they did not care about that. And I'm talking about householders, okay, specifically. Because most of the gurus back then were householders, be it Rahim, be it Kabir, be it Guru Nanak Dev Ji. All of them are householders. They were all married, they all had children. A householder has to follow Ram and Sita. But if you are a monk, then you could follow a different path, which is the path which is taught by Buddha, Vipassana. It is not a path for householders, I must say that, if anyone has a doubt. And even if a householder chooses to live in that path, then they have to live like a monk, they have to practice life like a monk, Then they cannot have relationships like, where they are totally committed to a family. All their day and all their work and everything will go into this, living as a monk. So, once you practice every day, once you practice surrender every day, you chant the name of Ram every day, or you just focus on this path. Basically, this is a path of purity and truth. When you focus on the path of truth, you slowly and gradually you will start diminishing. Like when we go online on the phone, we can use the phone for many things. We can use it as a good device for connecting with our loved ones or studying or research work. Like right now also in the Twin Flame journey, all the research work we are doing is possible because of technology, because of phone, because of laptop, because of all these things, right? But if you continue to scroll the whole day, you're just scrolling, looking at the same news 3 times, 4 times, and getting distracted by all the ego celebrities. Like we have all these Bollywood stars or Hollywood stars. How did they become Hollywood and Bollywood stars? Why do people worship them? That's because they are practicing living under the pumped up ego state. They don't have healthy lifestyles. That's why they do so much plastic surgery. Even if they exercise, they don't exercise like they want to be healthy. They exercise so that they can get a good ass or a good figure. And this is the reason why, like if you do yoga, which is also becoming popular now, you don't need to do plastic surgery after that. You can do face yoga, you can do body yoga. Even if you have pains and aches in your body, with the help of asanas, you will get very fast relief from those pains and aches, which a painkiller cannot give to you. Painkiller will give you worse problems. You'll have upset stomach, you'll be troubled all the time, you'll be irritated all the time, your blood pressure will go high and low. Yoga is such a practice that will even control your blood pressure. So you should practice these things. You should eat organic food. You should not eat animals. Don't kill animals and birds for your flesh, for the flesh you want to consume. But you see all these people, they live very unhealthy lifestyles. They're constantly drinking alcohol, constantly taking drugs. And I don't mean herbs, they take chemical drugs, dangerous chemical drugs. But how do they thrive on it? That's because the ego needs that. The ego needs all these things to survive on. Ego needs to be told, I am always young, I am always hot and attractive and sexy, I have this body. People look at my body and they go, wow. And we keep reading. Normal people keep reading news about them. as if they are doing some great contribution. They don't do any contribution. Even when they ask for donation for some this relief or that relief, even that money is going to them. Otherwise, they have so much money. Do you think they need to even ask for donation? They can easily give $10 million to anyone. They can easily give $50,000 dollars to anyone if they really want to help someone. From the relief work also, from the donations also, what do they get? They get publicity. Where does the publicity help? In the ego massage. So it is a very dangerous lifestyle they live, but it helps them because they have developed and they don't understand that they are all replaceable. If they don't get replaced by people, for example, they've become very successful and even till an old age, they are managing to rule the world with their power, fame, name and blah, 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 with their influence. Obviously, when they get old, they are not that good looking or attractive. So they use power and money to rule other people. That's how they get energy. All reptilian ETs will get energy via other people. So even if they don't they are still successful, and there are very few of them like that. Just, you can count them in, fingertips, like 10 odd people would be over the world famous, but millions of people would be wasting their energy to become like them because they're so awestruck and enamored by their lifestyle. Like they go, wow. So in the coming time, new type of people will come up and they will show people, they will inspire people that this is not the right lifestyle. There is another lifestyle, and they will not be concerned with name, fame, money, or recognition, or body looks, or blah, blah, blah. Or a lot of partners, a lot of girlfriends, boyfriends. So if you look at these people, they keep changing partners. They keep changing partners, how they change clothes. Today they are with someone, they are having children, then next day they are with someone else, they are having children, then next day. So many children are there, and all children are poor children, they are growing up in toxic environments. They're all into drug addictions or food addictions or sex addictions or same kind of traumas. Now, one of them becomes again very famous or popular because they pick on to the habits, or they learn from the person who is mentoring them. So that's why they need, even if they're 70 years old or 80 years old, they have done Botox, they've done some operations in their genitals, they've done some kind of operations. But how many things will you change? How many organs will you change? Sooner or later, you will die. Now, that is the time where the ego is dead. And then they need to replace it with someone else. Someone else has to take their place. So this is a cycle. This is a chain. Alright. So, Ram and Sita, how do they inspire us? Is they tell us that you don't need to do all of this to be happy. Because those people are not happy. If they were happy, then they would not have so many addictions. If they were happy, they would not need so many followers and so much validations in the form of some kind of online thing or some kind of TRP or some kind of award system. They have an award system, right? But who is the creator of the award? They are the creators of the award, and they are the ones who are giving it to one another. So this is like a deep study. But again, like I said, they also play a role in helping the nirvanas. They don't realize it, like how the nirvanas don't realize for a long time that the dark energies or the opposite energies, I would like to say, are helping me in my ascension. Even they, when they also get really bugged up or they get very tired or they don't know what to do, even they want to seek some kind of peace. They want to be happy. They are looking for such people who can make them relaxed. Even they go for therapies. Even they go to psychiatrist, that I am feeling like this, but it's always short term because then the psychiatrist, if it's a good psychiatrist, they'll tell them to do yoga or some kind of physical exercise or some kind of change in lifestyle, some kind of change in food. They would do it for a few days, but they'll be like, no, I can't do so much effort. So this effort, how does an ascensioner or how does a light worker or how does a twin flamer come to this? Because their body rejects these things. They cannot enjoy it anymore. A twin flamer cannot be happy changing so many partners. They want a true partner. That is why you are doing this twin flame journey. Why are you in the twin flame journey? Because you don't want to do all this. You're sick and tired. Didn't you try it? You did try it. You tried so many times because the whole world is doing that. The whole planet is doing that. Wherever you see, people are doing that in television, in movies, in advertisements. Everything is surrounded around this. So you do it. But then your soul starts rejecting it. Your body starts rejecting it. Your heart starts rejecting it. You're like, no, 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 no. Even if 10 million people on earth are doing it, even if 6 billion people or 7 billion people are doing it, 1 billion will not be able to do it out of that whole percentage. If I have to compare, they'll be like, no, this is just not for me. I cannot eat animals. I cannot wear these type of clothes. I cannot put Botox on my face. I don't want this fake physical beauty. I don't want alcohol. I don't want injections. I don't want anything. I don't want to go to this type of a school or that type of a college. I want to be an artist. I want to be a musician. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to grow plants. I want to help in the community. I want to be a farmer. They have different ideas, and they want to stick to those ideas. In between, obviously, they flip, because there's not many people to help them out in this area. So, divine feminines need to seek inspiration from Ram. How much Ram was mission oriented. Wow. His mission was everything for him. And he did the right thing also. He did the right thing, because today, because of him, because of Sita, we are able to ascend. So if you want to swim on the surface, you can be in the normal things. But if you want to go deep, you'll be stuck in the worldly shore, in the worldly surface. But if you want to go deep into your soul, you really want to know what unconditional love is, and you want to experience it. You don't just want to read about it. You want to feel it. You want to know about it. You also want to be like one of those people whose faces are radiating. They are smiling. They are happy. They are spreading joy. They don't need other people. They are not dependent. They are independent. When you look at them, look at their peace, you were like, wow, I want to be like this too. And what the hell am I doing? I'm sitting and crying in one corner. That, oh, when is my union going to happen? When is my union going to happen? Then, what was the reason? How did these two people and then Ravan? So, Ravan's identity was just the way, I would like to say a very successful worldly materialistic person is. Okay? And it's not like Ram and Sita, they were not materialistically well off. Ram was a king, he was the crown prince at that time, and Sita also was a princess. So they had no dearth of money. They were raised by kings and queens. They were the children of kings and queens. But they were not attached to it. The moment Ram found out that he has to go on exile, he said, okay. He didn't even question it. He didn't even say, how will I live? What will I do? Let me pack my bags. These are the things I need. These are the perfumes I would need in the forest. These are the sneakers I would need. These are the shorts I would need. I would need pajamas in the night. And what am I going to eat? Maybe we should carry a fridge also with us, to store the food. No. He just wore whatever one piece of attire. He wore his wooden, they used to call it kharaus, wooden slippers. He carried his bow and arrow. When he left from the palace, he still had slightly okay clothes, because he was leaving from there. Once he reached the woods, then he removed his the matted hair, changed his hair into matted hair because it's easy to manage. And then he wore all the clothes of a person who lives in the forest, a person who has renounced everything. And Sita, who could have lived in the palace easily for those 14 years, she said, no, I will also accompany my husband. And not only Sita, but his brother Lakshman. There is no other brother like Lakshman. All the brothers of Ram were like Ram. They followed Ram. Lakshman was like, no, my brother and his wife, my sister-in-law, they would be in difficulties when they go to the forest. They need someone. So I would be there. I would act as a guard, and I would not leave them even once. I will be there for them. Like whatever work they need, I will be their humble servant. So all three of them leave. How many people can do that right now? It's not possible, right? So truth was so important for them that for the sake of truth, they could do all of this. And what do people do nowadays? They lie, they show off, they manipulate, they play all kind of mind games just to be happy or just to have all the things they need. So sacrifice is a must. I know all of you feminines will resonate with this because you have sacrificed. You left a well-paying job maybe. You quit fancy lifestyles like buying branded clothes and wasting money on branded shoes and branded clothes. You felt that if the same t-shirt I can buy for, in India we have rupees. Over there you have dollars. If the same t-shirt I can buy for 500 rupees or 600 rupees or even 1000 rupees, why do I need to pay 10,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees or 8,000 rupees just to get one t-shirt or just to get one dress which has a label on it, which has a brand name on it? So it's better I don't do it. This is how it starts actually. With small things it starts. Like you go to a place, you see a shelter and you see how animals are being tortured, and that's the day you decide, no, I'm not going to do the same. I will rather eat vegetables or fruits or normal, dal and rice and blah blah blah, and I would try not to contribute to these things. Or then you would do other things, like instead of wasting time on all these dating applications like Tinder and I don't know, there's so many of them. It's better I stay alone and I let universe decide, who comes in my life and who doesn't, Instead of being so hypersexual, trying to prove that I am desirable and I'm worthy, going up to men, doing sexual favors or for them and this and that. I am not going to do that. Maybe you're in a corporate environment where you see that there are other females who are impressing their bosses by doing sexual favors or by going out on parties and this and that with them, or drinking out with them, going out for night outs, blah blah blah. But you don't do that. You think that I don't want a promotion. It's better I work in a simple way. I'm okay to get whatever salary I'm getting and these many dollars I'm getting. I'd rather be a nurse. I'd rather be environmentalist. I'd rather do this. So they choose certain things over certain things. They sacrifice those materialistic things, just like Ram and Sita did. So that's why they can inspire us, because Ram and Sita are the only two people. You can study all of the Indian gods and goddesses. You'll see Ram and Sita in human form. And another one is Krishna. But Krishna is also a reincarnation of Vishnu. So we will talk about Krishna also, Krishna and Radha, because Krishna and Radha are also twin flame divine couple. Okay, so Krishna and Radha, Ram and Sita, and Shiva and Shakti. These are the three main divine couples that we are going to talk about, who were in human forms. Why are we not talking about Vishnu and Lakshmi? Because Vishnu and Lakshmi are not in human forms. They are ascended masters. They live in another dimension, which is Vaikunth. When they come to earth, in order to live on earth, they take human forms, and that's why they took the human form of Ram and Sita and then Radha and Krishna. But Ram and Sita got married. They were together. Radha and Krishna never got married, even though they are prayed and worshipped as a couple. So that's why I say Ram and Sita are the twin flame gurus who can help us ascend, who can help us go to union. So Ram was basically the opposite of Ravan, and that's why he was reincarnated to kill him. Okay, he was the only one who could kill him. So you need to study Ramayana, you need to listen to Ramayana more intensely and with a lot of interest to understand it and acknowledge that why the story is untouched despite being so ancient. Okay, now back in those days in Treta, so we are in ascending Dwapar, but back then it was descending Treta. In descending Treta, as I said, society had developed certain flaws. In the golden age, there are no societal flaws. Society is not even men and women oriented, it's only children oriented. Children are the most important priority for all human beings, for all adults. Okay, so back in those days, in descending Treta, there was a societal flaw due to which women did not enjoy the same privileges as men. And one of the biggest thing was that even though women could choose their husband, there would be a process of Swayamvar where all women could say, okay, decide that out of these 10 men, I think this one is the worthiest of me, so I will marry him or I will choose him. But they never kept more than one husband or more than one lover at the same time. It was a sin. It was like Sita would say this, that we don't even need it. I am so happy with my masculine that I don't need so many men to satisfy me, or so many men to with whom I need to make relationships like that. So Sita was like, when they got married, when Ram and Sita got married, most queens would think that their husband is going to marry more than once, because polygamy was practiced by kings. It was only for kings and very highly influential people. It was not for common people. So a man could, a king especially, could have more than one wife. Even Ram's father, Dashrath, had 3 wives. Okay, and it was the stepmother Kaikeyi who had sent Ram on exile, basically, because she did not want Ram to be the king. She wanted his son Bharat to be the king. So basically, back in those days, this societal flaw, it allowed a king to have more than one wife, but it did not allow the queen to do that. And Sita felt that this was a societal flaw, and not only Sita, even Ram felt that. So when they got married, Ram told Sita that I will never marry another woman. I will never look at any other woman. You are the only person I love. You are my lover. You are my beloved. You are my divine feminine. You are my divine counterpart. You are the only one I desire, and I will always be only yours in this life, because this is a human life, is temporary. So, and he did not have any remembrance that he is Vishnu's reincarnation, or he has the spirituality of Vishnu, the DNA of Vishnu. So Vishnu's DNA is not just in Ram. Let's also understand, Vishnu's DNA and Lakshmi's DNA is in other people also. A lot of divine feminines and masculines have Vishnu and Lakshmi's DNA. That's why they are so, enamored by each other only. They don't want to see anybody else, ever. But really, very high, very ascended souls. And this doesn't happen to all of the people. It is rarest of the rare cases, where it happens. But we are all their children, right? So we obviously have their DNA. That's the reason why we are working on this ascension journey also, because our parents, our mother, father, they are our gods and goddesses. It doesn't matter if you're born in the Western world. Maybe in past lives you were, worshippers, or you were surrendered to Source. So this is the reason why even when you are in another country, another world, another culture, you don't even know anything about India, you don't even know what is this twin flame thing, your parents never spoke about it. At least in India, we speak about Shiva and Shakti, we pray to Shiva and Shakti, we pray to Radha and Krishna, we pray to Ram and Sita, so we are very much aware about them. But imagine how in the Western world, they don't even know about it. And one fine day, they are so enamored by this concept, they start researching about it. They are looking for what is this type of love, and then they find out it's called twin flame. Oh, twin flame. Oh, I never know what is twin flame. Twin flame itself, twin means someone who's same as you, and flame means, flame is the light, the jot. There's a painting I have made. Some of you would have seen it. It's right behind my seat where I sit and work. People who have taken readings, that is a flame. They would know. They have seen it. So that is a flame. So this is a divine flame, and this is a flame of love, of unconditional love, of purity. And in the householder's life, in order to reach to ascension, full, complete ascension, the person who can help you the best, the most, is your twin flame. This is the concept of twin flame in simple words, for those of you who are looking for it. So Shiva was helped by Shakti, Shakti was helped by Shiva, but where were they going? They were going to Source. Radha and Krishna. And when ascended masters, when Vishnu, Lakshmi, they are all born as human beings, even they don't have any memory. Only Krishna had memory of who he was. That was an exception which was made at that time, because the dark ages were approaching. And that's the reason why this exception was made. Otherwise, Ram had no remembrance of who he was. He did not know he is Vishnu's incarnation. He has the spirituality and DNA of Vishnu. He did not know. Even Sita did not know. Sita found out later on because she got ascended before Ram. So she found out later on, and therefore she became very detached. So these are the things you will figure it out. How you will change. When you ascend, you will change. The old self of you, the identity, the scared, full of fears, the scared identity, that will die, that will perish, and the new you, the new identity will be created. You will be reborn as a soul. So back in those days, kings, not common men could have 3 wives, 4 wives, 5 wives. Women could not. This is so wrong. And Ram did not agree with it, and Sita did not agree with it. Ram was of a notion, one word, one arrow, one woman. Which means if he would give a word to someone, like A, he would not promise, but B, if he promises, then he will make sure he lives up to his promise. What do the men lack today? The divine masculines, what do they lack? Commitment. They gave a commitment to divine feminine. I love you, you are mine, you are everything for me, you're the only person. And something happened, some fight happened, and he ran away and he went to the arms of a karmic. No, there is no concept of having a commitment. No concept of giving. If I say I love this woman, I belong to her, there's nobody I want, then you should stick by it till even if death is in front of you. So this is a societal flaw in today's masculine. They cannot give commitment, they cannot live up to their word. But they will learn it when the karmic will, give them nice ass whoppings, they will learn it. When they will meet the false twin and the karmics. So one word, one arrow and one woman. That's what Ram believed in. And he had given a word to Sita that he would never look at any other woman. Even when he gave up Sita on exile time, he was asked to remarry for the completion of a yagya which was called Ashwamedh Yagya. But he refused to do it. He refused it. He said, no, I will not marry. No way. No way, no way. She is the only person I love. So all the pandits and all the people who do the yajnas, they said, but then how will the yajna get completed? Yajna cannot get completed unless you sit with your wife in this prayer. So he said, I don't know, you figure it out yourself, otherwise I'll not even do the yajna. But the yajna had to be done because he was a king and his mission was to serve the subject in the best possible way. So then they came up with a method that they would make a gold idol of Sita. Exact replica of Sita, just as if Sita is sitting there. Like how we have the wax statues nowadays, similarly a gold idol of Sita. And who gave the gold for that? It was the subject, because by then the subjects were apologetic and they had realized their mistake and they knew that Ram and Sita are true lovers, unconditional lovers, and we have done wrong by tainting the image of Sita. So in apology, all the people, they give their gold, and with that gold a statue of Sita is made, and that statue is placed next to Ram, and then the yajna is conducted. So that is his level of commitment. So he only belonged to Sita as a husband, as a lover. He only belonged to Sita. But as a king, he did not belong to the queen. He belonged to the subject. So now from this logic, men could practice polygamy as per the society rules, especially the king, not a common man, but queen could not. So Ram was not required to pass any test. As a king, he was not required to pass any test of, fidelity. This is the thing that happened with Sita. She had to pass a test. That's why she walked on fire. When she walked on fire, it was proof that, Ravan has not touched her at all. Otherwise, she would have perished in the fire. So this is why some people say, why did he make her do the test? Or why did he ask her once again to give the test when she came back? Because he was not asking for the test as a king. Now, the interesting part is, though as a king, he asked her for the second time for the test, as a public servant, as his loyalty towards his people, with a lot of personal pain, a lot of tears in his eyes, in his heart. Now, Sita could have also given the test and she could have lived with him. There and then, she could have, and it was very easy. I mean, obviously, she could have passed the test. And now even the subjects were apologetic and they were saying sorry, right? But Sita refused to give the test, and she did not say that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. She simply said that this is a societal flaw. Why should women go through this? As a woman, I don't agree to it. I reject it. A man, a king, can practice polygamy. Why can't women then practice polygamy? You should have the same rule for men and women. You cannot have unfair rules. And as a woman, I don't want to practice polygamy. I don't care about it. I just want to be happy with my husband, and that's the only person I love. The only man I love is my husband, my lover, my beloved. I don't want to look at any other man, no matter what. Okay? So she questioned the societal flaw which did not respect women in the same light, and then she refused to go back to him. Instead of going back to him, what she did was she had raised the boys, the sons, and she handed the sons to him, and she said, these are your sons, these are your boys. I don't need to give any test. As a mother, my guru was living with me in the ashram. He has helped me raise the boys. Whether you want to agree it, you don't want to agree it, I don't care a damn. I'm going back to my mother. My mother is here. She will be happy to receive me because she any which way wanted me to be with her. So she said that this is my duty, I have done my duty, and goodbye. And she just doesn't even say bye actually. She doesn't even look at him properly. She just says my mission work on planet Earth, because as a queen it was her mission work. For a common woman it's not even important required to reproduce children. But she was a queen, she had to give the next kings to the next crown prince to the king. That's why she gave birth to children. For normal people like us, we don't even need to do that, but still we are doing that because it's a reflection of ego. I will discuss that subject a little bit later, not right now. So this much is clear to people, right? Now some people would say, oh, this is such a wrong societal flaw. Why? What kind of a societal flaw is this? Blah, blah, blah. So we can't help it because we live under the guidelines of the Yuga cycles. A golden age cannot be same as dark ages. Dark ages cannot be same as Dwapar. Dwapar cannot be same as Treta. Treta cannot be same as dark ages. Every age has its own significance and its own importance, right? This is a cycle. So important to see is that they basically give more importance to Earth's ascension. They are more committed to Earth, Mother Earth. That today if I will take a wrong step, tomorrow it will cause a lot of problem to other people who are going to come. To humanity it will be a problem. We can totally enjoy, like Ram could have easily quit the throne and taken an exile and made his brothers be on the throne. Like, okay, I'm gonna leave with Sita, I'll go to a jungle and live over there, have a family. I don't want to be the king. You be the kings. But then that would have been wrong. That would have been a selfish thing for him to do, an immoral thing for him to do, unethical thing for him to do. He could not do that, and he did not do that. Now, after the exile, another interesting thing happened. Now, so their discussion happens later on, but when the exile happens, now what is another flaw in the societal flaw that we are in right now? That we don't give equal importance to children. And if you have been doing actual genuine inner work, I will not say anything else, then you know that the most important requirement of the inner work is to heal the wounded inner child, right? And why is the inner child wounded? Why? Because we are raised by narcissistic parents. We are raised by enablers, or we are raised by neglectors. So these narcissistic parents are so selfish that they don't care about the children. The poor child can go to hell. They just care about themselves. I know I said it in a crude way, but technically this is what they do. They don't really consider the child's emotions, how the child is feeling, how the child is doing. Is he really enjoying the school? Is he even learning something? What is the type of education the child is getting? Is there anyone who's bullying them, or what is the environment? Are they getting enough acknowledgement? The mother is busy doing her thing. The father is busy doing her thing. The mother is looking for another man who will make her happy. The father is looking for another woman. Both of them forget about the children. The poor children, they have become adults, and now they are taking care of these grown-up adults. This is the biggest societal flaw of our generation, of dark ages, of all the ascending and descending times. But they were not like that. So even though Ram and Sita were born in descending Treta, but they did not practice those societal flaws. And this is what we are here to do. All of us in the ascension journey, we are also supposed to not practice the societal flaws. We are supposed to ignore the societal flaws, and we're supposed to follow our soul, basically, morals. So they kept the children number one priority. So when Sita went on exile, she could have easily gone to her father's kingdom, because she is a princess, she's a crown princess. Her father had only daughters, he didn't even have sons. So she would have lived very happily, easily over there with a lot of luxuries. Her children would have gotten all the luxuries, and in some time, she knew that Ram would also realize his mistake and come back to her. Or if not Ram, because Ram would not have done that, the public would realize their mistake and they would, bring her back and blah, blah, blah. But she was like, no, I don't want to do all of this. I want to go and live in the jungle, yo. And she goes and she lives a hippie life in the jungle. And she also does not reveal her true identity. She requests Guru Valmiki. She lives in the ashram, and he tells him that please don't tell people that I'm Sita, otherwise they'll find out. They'll all, because people loved Sita also. They would come to me, or Ram will find out. If he has given me exile, which means exile is exile. Nobody should know where I am. So I will raise my boys here. Because ashram, according to her, as a mother, as an ascended mother, she's the best mother. No mother can be like her. If you really want to be the bestest mother, please follow Sita's life. Please. She said, my boys should get the best education, the best comfort, as in love, unconditional love. So I'm going to be with them in the ashram. She raises them in the ashram without any name, fame, recognition, because even the boys did not know that Ram and Sita are their parents. They used to worship Ram and Sita. That's the wonderful part. But they never knew that their own mother is Sita, and the king Ram, who they consider, their guru and everything, he is their father. They never knew that. They obviously knew towards the end. So she wasn't the sad, codependent woman. She wanted the children to get the best, and she chose to live in the woods under a master. So she inspired many women to make their children a priority. If you have your own children, if you have biological children, then please give them the best environment, which is non-materialistic and which is comprised and full of inner work. Once her boys were ready, then she had no attachment or ownership over them. Now, what do people do in today's time? They're so attached to their children. They see their children as an extension of their own ego. So they want to control the children. They don't want children to be happy and live their own life in their own way. So she had no ownership over them and handed them over to their father. And then the same boys became the kings later on. She wasn't even attached to Ram, she was a solid queen. So both Ram and Sita, they kept their duty over their romantic relationship. And the reason why so many people suffer in today's time is because of, as I said, the wounded inner child. They're never taught how to go within and resolve the pain they attract, because we all attract pain. This is the theme of planet Earth. So, many people don't even know that which yuga they are in. Most people think that we are in the dark ages right now. Most people have not even read Ramayana. And I'll tell you one thing, if you have deep interest in this type of story, if you have deep interest in twin flame relationships, if you have deep interest in ascension, you will have deep interest in Ramayana. You are the luckiest person, the most fortunate person on this planet. Because those who are really unlucky, they will not have any interest in this, all of this. They will have no interest, zero interest in all of this. Okay? So, on this note, I would be closing this channeling. And I would like to say that Sita never needed anyone to protect her, because she herself is Shakti, and she can destroy the universe by the blink of her eye if she gets angry. But she waited patiently for her husband so that Lord Sri Ram could create order during unholy times, or during the time when the defilements were so strong. And I'll also tell you one more thing before I close this channeling, that when Ram and Lakshman were fighting against Ravan during the battle, they had fallen down, they became unconscious. At that point in time, the Asuras, the Rakshasas, they lied to Sita. Obviously, Ravan told them to lie to Sita. And they showed her, like an image or a vision, a videographic vision of Ram and Lakshman lying dead And they said that, now that your husband is dead, it's better you marry Ravan. And she closed her eyes. She was so powerful. She said, don't try to show me all these illusions, okay? Don't try to fool me. She sat down in one corner and she just screamed, shouted Ram. And that's it. Both of them, the brothers, got awakened. So she revived them from a distance while she was not even near them. She revived them. So that means she is the Shakti. She gives power to Ram. So let's understand what Shakti can do. Shakti is energy. Shakti is power. So divine feminines are Shakti. And on this note, I would be closing this wonderful channeling session over here. Thank you so much for being here with me. One love and peace out.